This is We All Be, News Free Dixie for the 21st century. See how it works? Somewhere. Can you dig it?
Well, let me talk about the R. Kelly thing. All right, I'm gonna do a quick talk about the R. Kelly thing. Okay, no, that it was a song or album that was released called I Admit, and I remember seeing it on my Amazon Prime Music, but I just took it for granted. I thought it was just some old R. Kelly stuff, maybe remastered or stuff like that, but it actually was some unreleased songs that were released, but it wasn't an official release. But it went through official avenues like the different legitimate streaming services like Amazon Prime and iTunes and stuff like that. And it was allegedly removed. I think R. Kelly's people made a statement that he didn't approve of the release of this material under this name. And the company, they released it, but they took it back down. But I'm sure if I go on YouTube, I could probably find it or somewhere else, maybe the black web, the dark web, to find it. But this is what I want to say about the R. Kelly thing. If Sam Cooke, like I said, if he died under those circumstances that he died and it was ruled a justifiable homicide today, y'all would have counseled Sam Cooke with no question. But we don't think we so reactionary as a people. We're very emotionally triggered and reactionary when it comes to certain things. Sometimes you gotta detach yourself from a situation and not be so quick to react, but rather to reflect. Be quicker to reflect sometimes than to react, and then try to heighten the contradictions. Because like back in the day, Little Richard was not seen as a threat, even though rock and roll music was about sex and Tutti Frutti was about sex. Little Richard was not seen as a threat because the way he dressed, he wore makeup. No, Little Richard, he had his share of women. They said the first incidents of somebody throwing panties on the stage was at a Little Richard concert in Baltimore. From what I read, so the first time people started throwing panties on the stage was at a Little Richard concert in Baltimore. So I don't know what's true now, but people put out anything could be true because it's been printed. A lot of us think that when we read something that's factual, they don't mean it's factual. That's because it's in a book. It's called library for a reason. Lies are buried in the library. Not just truth and facts, but also lies. So they said in Little Richard, pancake face, he put all that makeup on his face not to be a threat to white male so-called sexual dominance. So he made sure he put the makeup on. But you look at Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry didn't do that. Chuck Berry was a man. What's so that Chuck Berry? Chuck Berry was actually studying to become a hairdresser. He's from St. Louis. I think he was studying to become a hairstylist before he hit it big time. He was a hairdresser at one point. I could be wrong. Like I said, just read. I read about this. I think it was fascinating. I even think the actor Danny DeVito worked in his sister's hair salon at one point in New Jersey. I don't know. I do know, but once you look that up, but Chuck Berry definitely loved women. He got in trouble messing around with some underage girls. This is around the same time when Elvis was dating like teenage girls, like 13 and 14-year-old Priscilla Presley, and Jerry Lee Lewis married his 13-year-old cousin. But but Chuck Berry the only one went to prison for it. These are his contemporaries. We just lost Jerry Lee Lewis this year. But it's like white folks don't crucify their people, but black folks, we go out our way destroying our icons and our idols. They all flawed people, but we should not even think about doing that to people because the white people already do that to our people already. But yeah, they got Chuck Berry because Chuck wasn't wearing no makeup. He wasn't wearing all that. He wasn't being all that flamboyant. Chuck was a man. You know what I'm saying? He wanted that kitty cat. He wanted to pet that kitty. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty. He duck walk that kitty. I'm gonna duck walk the kitty. I'm gonna duck walk the kitty. Okay, that's what he was about. So they put him in prison, right? um, and Sam and Jackie, they were smooth. They were very polished, uptown, sophisticated cats. They wore the suits and stuff, styled the hair. They were more like entertaining, like Sam sung at the Coca Cabana, right? The Copa Cabana up in New York. I think Barbara Walters' dad used to manage the Copa Cabana. The Copa Cabana. Peter Pickles. Yeah. But Well, I won't say, but R. Kelly, man, times done changed. You know, R. Kelly came on with all that sexual energy, sex me, bumping ground, public announcement, all that stuff. R. Kelly was part of that tradition. He's up there for me. R. Kelly's up there with the Sam Cooks and the Otises and the Curtis and the Marvins and stuff. He's part of that tradition. Like, yeah, he got some guys, some of his contemporaries, they're great, but R. Kelly's on a different level. And he's an amazing songwriter, it's an amazing producer and songwriter, very gifted guy. And to me, if you're gonna judge R. Kelly like we judging him today, because R. Kelly and Elvis Presley both born on January the 8th. King of R&B, King of rock and roll, both born January the 8th. We should be giving R. Kelly the Elvis treatment. Because the fun thing about the underage thing, if R. Kelly just stayed, let's say he was in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. If he just was messing around with girls in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, the age of consent in Pennsylvania and New Jersey is 16. The age of consent is 16. So let's say R. Kelly just said, I'm just gonna stay with the women or the girls, or they women at 16. Because it's like the Dave Chappelle skit about how old is old, like how young is young. When is a girl officially a woman? When she have a period? So we don't want to talk about these type of things, because a lot of us wouldn't be here if we didn't have 12 to 14-year-old kids getting pregnant in our family trees. A lot of us wouldn't be here. So y'all can talk what y'all want to talk. What I'm saying is, if R. Kelly just stayed his assets in either New Jersey or Pennsylvania, he could have got away with what y'all say he did. That they got him for, because the age of consent varies. Now in Tennessee is 18. I think in Illinois is 17. Y'all go online and look at the age of consent throughout the whole country. So there's no legitimate, this is too young versus this is too young. So, like I said, he could have been in Pennsylvania where Bill Cosby got in trouble at, could got away with it. Oh, she's 16. Okay, fine. I think A.L.L was 15 when they got married. But here's the thing about R. Kelly. A.L.L was given to R. Kelly by R. Kelly's, by A.L.L's uncle, who used to be married to Gladys Knight. She was an offering, right? Because R. Kelly met her when she was 12, and he produced her first album. But A.L.'s uncle was his manager. Then they said in that Surviving R. Kelly, I could not watch that Surviving R. Kelly. I could not finish it. I may watch it. I may try to watch it, but it was like people are so weird to me. Like, y'all get all emotionally twisted and invested in this crap, and I'm just trying to look at the evidence. Like they make him think like he was up at the schools, trying to prey on the girls. Like it's like he the big bad wolf and they little Red Robin Hood. And he was going to the school because his Jegna, the black woman, the music teacher, was helping him with his son because he was functionally illiterate. They were bringing girls to him. He's the Pied Piper. You don't have to chase them. They were bringing him, so he and then like R. Kelly, he's a man child, right? Because like, what you gonna do with I don't know what type of conversation I can have with a 15 or 14-year-old girl about anything. What do they know about life? How can they talk to me on my? I like to talk. What I like to talk about. Let's say some type of prodigy or some type of like crystal children. Or I don't. R. Kelly was a simple guy, but also complex, right? So I mean, they just want McDonald's and some Air Jordans, and you got in. You in there. But the demonization of R. Kelly was sad, because I have yet to go anywhere. I don't care if it's in a barbershop, a restaurant. When R. Kelly music comes on, nobody's saying cut that ish off. I have yet to hear anybody cut that ish off. I don't want to hear that ish. They even played R. Kelly music at a repass I was at. It was a great repass. That DJ was off the chain. I actually one of the repasses for the late great Sidney Kirk, who was the piano man for Isaac Hayes. I actually honor him. The Jimmy Lunsford Legacy Awards. We honored his wife last year. He passed on to glory this year. But nobody didn't say turn that ish off. Because R. Kelly the man. Because everybody start tapping their toes and nodding their head and stuff like that. Greatness is greatness, man. Y'all want perfection. And Jesus was perfect and they killed Jesus. So what y'all want from these guys? These are mere mortals who happen to be gods when it comes to certain abilities. So I'm looking forward to hearing more R. Kelly stuff. I hope they publish more of his stuff, even when he's in prison. Because we all are prisoners of our own personal hells. We're not really free. We all like slaves of another name. We like slavery on a spectrum. Because freedom means that you have no security net. To really be free is to not know where your next meal is coming from or where you're gonna be staying tomorrow. That's real freedom. Y'all don't want that. Y'all want the ability to choose in a comfortable situation. That's not freedom. That's security. That's all that stuff, right? So that's why we don't live in a democracy. Because democracy means we don't pay no taxes. That means you may not have any paved roads because people could choose or not to choose to pave the roads. That's real freedom to me. So we not living. I guess real freedom is anarchy. It's like saying that I'm an atheist, but you're religious. How am I religious? Because atheism is a religion. Ain't that weird that atheism is a religion? It could be considered a religion because you believe that God doesn't exist. All a religion is a certain set of beliefs. So I mean, this stuff is strange. Being a human being is very, very contradictory. So you got to heighten the contradiction when it comes to stuff like dealing with the so-called sordid and troubled legacy of R. Kelly. I have no problem listening to R. Kelly. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care if he was a serial killer. I can still listen to his music. Don't you know Charles Manson produced songs? Charles Manson was a musician. Have you listened to any Charles Manson's music? I have listened to Charles Manson's music. It's available on streaming platforms. It's not that bad. But then you got to think about the things he did or allegedly was accused of doing. And to his dying day, Charles Manson said, I'm CIA, man. I'm CIA. I'm a prop. I believe he was CIA. I believe he was. There's a couple of books out that talks about Charles Manson. Connections to the government, to CIA, to intelligence, to MK Ultra. I believe he was railroaded. That's me. But I'm a different breed. You know what I'm saying? But even R. Kelly was known for strangling and killing women. I still listen to his music. Not because I approve of what he did. It's like with Hitler. Hitler failed to get into art school. You ever seen any of Hitler's artwork? Like he was prone for landscapes and buildings. I guess he had it predicted his future in a way. He couldn't draw people, didn't paint anybody. He painted buildings and landscapes, from my understanding. But wake up, people. Most of your musicians and singers and artists, they're very flawed and got dark sides to them. You understand? They got dark sides because they're human. Edgar Allan Poe had a dark side. Everybody got a dark side. But yeah, R. Kelly's still a great musician to me. So it is what it is. Happy birthday coming up for R. Kelly on January 8th. Yeah, but still, anything that's about beliefs, that's a religion. Yeah, I hear you. There's a lot of people confused about that. I mean, I agree, but at the same time, I mean, what's done is done. I mean, he's a victim too. I mean, he's been abused himself. I heard things they say his sister was abusing him sexually. Then I'm sure his sister was abused. Because you talk about even Monique, the comedian, the actress, and stuff like that. She was allegedly sexually abused by her brother. She's from Baltimore. If you know, like Dr. Patricia Newton, who I think was a cousin of Huey P. Newton and a protege of Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. I actually had the honor of meeting the Dr. Patricia Newton at Dr. Francis Cress Wesleyan's memorial service in D.C. And she passed on within the last 2 or 3 years. Dr. Newton, she talked about the legacy of sex farms up in places like Maryland and Virginia. And they actually showed this in a very graphic way on the movie Goodbye, Uncle Tom, which was produced by some Italians back in the early 70s. And they showed a sex farm. We had black men being used as bucks, screwing black women. And, the term MFer allegedly came from black men having relations with their mom at these sex farms. So, I mean, not overlooking anything, but putting in a greater context of the abuse that black people have suffered in this country. not neglecting, because I think a lot of people have been sexually abused. They may not know the terminology. They may not even think about. They might have suppressed it. I think a lot of us have suppressed being sexually abused because it was so traumatic for a lot of us, or we didn't have the words or how to articulate what happened to us. Um, Not excusing anything, but I'm just hiding the contradictions. Whereas, like, Jerry Lee Lewis and Elvis are celebrated, and white folks have no problem celebrating these guys and overlooking the fact that they like underage women or underage girls, or young girls, PYTs, pretty young girls, pretty young things, whatever. Mm. Oh yeah, he buried in Baltimore. Yeah, it's like Baltimore. It's like an episode from The Wire. You was at Edgar Allan Poe's grave and he heard the gunshots. Oh yeah, Jay Z and Foxy Brown heard about Foxy. Jay Z said it didn't happen. Foxy Brown said it did happen. I remember reading something about Jay Z being in the 40-40, one of his 40-40 clubs with Rihanna when she was just coming of age. I think Rihanna's debut album came out in 2005 or 2004. I actually liked that album. I didn't know she would become a billionaire. If you told me back in 2005 that the girl I was listening to would be a billionaire in 2022, I wouldn't have believed you. But I think Jay Z was real. I mean, he discovered Rihanna, and I heard reading somewhere. I don't know why I read this, why they put this in a magazine or an online article about him being in a room with Rihanna by themselves at the 40-40 club. So I don't know what they were about. But anyway, I don't doubt it. I mean, yeah, I mean, Foxy went through a lot of stuff. I know she had lost her hearing at one point. She had some health challenges. So I don't know what's going on with her. But Foxy used to be the stud, the ill na na. I used to love the ill na na. Her and when Little Kim looked like Little Kim. Little Kim was beautiful back in the day. I don't know why. I mean, you can't tell. Mental health matters, man. It's sad what happened to Little Kim. You talking about Elijah Muhammad? Okay.
Hey, everybody, this is Brother Ron. I am asking you all to do me a big favor. Think about supporting the We All Be movement. Your donation is tax deductible. The We All Be Group Incorporated is a recognized 501c3. And I'm just asking you all because I want to keep on bringing y'all quality work through the way that I know how to do best. And I'm going to sing my praises and toot my horn. A lot of y'all were not hip to Dick Gregory until Brother Ron brought him on the We All Be platform, until that jingle review we did. Y'all seen another side of Judge Joe Brown, and Judge Joe Brown's message has been amplified. But it was We All Be that brought Judge Joe Brown to y'all back in 2014. And so many others. And we covered so many things. So help us out so we can help you all. Peace.